Hello guys, happy Monday. Thanks so much for coming in. We are working on the Hourglass quilt. We got it just about done. We have just about the top done. We have to put the border on. That's what we're going to be working on tonight. And we have to figure out some measurements for that as well. So that's the plan. Thanks for coming in, guys. Remember, sign up to win this quilt. I have the link to sign up for your entry in the description of the Facebook post here. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll also have the link on YouTube. Be sure to sign up there. We'll be announcing the winner when we're done making this quilt, and we'll be announcing it over in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. So you can join over there as well. So thanks again, guys. We are getting along with this quilt, just the borders. Then we'll also make the back in binding coming up here and get going on the whole quilting process, getting it all together. I have some ideas on that I want to share with you today as well. So if you are new here, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm the author of Sew and Stitch Embroidery, and I'm here while we relax and craft. I'm here every night at 9:30 p.m. Central, and like I've been saying, we are working on an hourglass block quilt. There are several other videos. I'm doing the whole entire process here live, so be sure to check out the previous videos. You can do that on Facebook on the Penguin and Fish page or over on YouTube, and the link for that should be, maybe it's not in here. I'll have to put the link in the description here, but it's youtube.com/penguinandfishmovies. So you can find it there. So thanks again, guys, for coming in. I'm going to flip you around, and we will get chatting about this quilt. Okay, so I have some ideas here. Let's kind of lay this out a little bit. Okay, so here is, let's see if we can see more of it. All right, so it fills my table here. Oh yeah, you got in tonight, that is good. I'm glad to hear it's working tonight, guys. So here's my background fabric. It's kind of this forest evergreen kind of green. It's almost the exact color of the background in this dot fabric. I think I kind of like this size of it as well. This is, I think I measured it, it's about 8 inches. So I'm thinking we might do an 8-inch border. And I'm going to do the binding the same color. But I was looking around at my thread, and I found this metallic, shiny thread. So I may attempt to quilt with this. And then this would be like the bobbin thread. I mean, it would go with all our sparkliness of the rest of it, and then if we go into the border, it would have that same sparkle. So I have read up a little bit on sewing with metallic thread, since I have never done that before, and there's a lot of little tips and tricks that we're going to try, and I think I'll probably practice one evening or do a little tiny test just to see how it works for us. But I think that would be fun. I always love learning new things and giving new things a try here during our relax and craft time. And I don't know, crazy shiny metallic floss, I think that would be, or thread, I think that would be kind of fun to do. It's fairly stretchy. There are some rules for it that I've learned, but we will get to that. But I think that's the plan, and then I'm going to do, I think, diagonal stitch in the ditch, which will kind of make that cross in between these big squares. That's later. Tonight we are going to focus on the border. So first things first, let's measure this quilt. It should be, what did we say? It should be 36.5 inches right now by 32.5, because it is, they're going to end up as 4-inch squares, and there's 9 tall by 8 wide, and then, then a 1/2 inch extra for the seam allowance right now. So I'm going to just measure, I'm going to measure from the middle. So this is the tip that you guys gave me during this splendid sampler quilt. So I just want to check to see if we're at that 36 and a half mark. Yeah, and we are. We'll be fine with the 36 and a half. We are dealing with the stretchy edge of fabric with these triangles, so we may have to, we're going to have to just wonder clip it or pin it really well to make sure that, you know, it doesn't stretch out on us. So let's measure this in the middle too. And this is a little quilt, so I'm not like so entirely worried about it. But let's just double check that we are at 32 and a half. Yep. So we got the 32 and a half as well. So we're going to just stick with those measurements. All right. Time for some thinking. So here we go. Got my pencil and paper here. Oh, you haven't used that thread either. Hey everyone, thanks for coming in. All right. We need to do some figuring. So we have our final quilt is going to be, well, right now this side is, what did we say, 36 and a half. And this is, man, I forgot already, 32 and a half. So we will cut, we're going to sew sides on first, and then we're going to sew the top and bottom on. So that's my plan. I think I'm going to do the same size all the way around. So we talked about 8 inches. Why don't we do, why don't we do 8.5 inches, because then it'll shrink down to the 8 inches. So you know what, I'm going to just write, this is, I'm going to write just the sewn in size, and then we'll add the seam allowance. So ultimately this will be 36 inches by 32 inches. All right, so if we add 8 inches and we add another 8 inches, okay, so 36. So we need to cut two pieces, and if we add the seam allowance, 2 pieces that are 8.5 inches by 36 and a half inches. All right, so we need 2 pieces of that. All right, those are these. And then for this will end up being 36. And then 8 and 8. All right, math people, what's that? 36 and 16. 12 is 52. So this will be 52, and then that extra ½ inch for the seam allowance. Ooh, that's long. So 52.5 inches is longer than, oh, did I do it wrong? 48? No, because we need both sides. So, wait, 32. Oh yeah, we don't, it's not 32, it's 32, not 36 there. Yep, you're right. 16. Yeah, right, good. That's why I have, that's why I need you guys here. So it's 48 inches, 48 and a half. So that is still, it's still longer, 48 and a half. Math is not my big thing in the evenings. So 48 and a half inches, that's what we'll need for these pieces, but that'll need to be pieced because fabric's only, on the bolt is only about 40 to 42 inches long, like 40 inches once we sew it. So we are going to have to cut another piece. But luckily, we'll be able to cut some of our binding out of that. So, okay, so we need 2 pieces that are 8 and a half by 48 and a half. Okay, so we should end up with a quilt cut with the lengthwise grain. Oh, you mean cut like 48 inches across, and then cross cut a whole pile of 8-inch things? Oh, I hadn't thought about that. We could do that. Then we won't have as much extra. Isn't there another ½ inch from the side seam allowances. Well, it'll be sewn in, so the 1/2 inch is here. So a 1/4 inch will be here, and a 1/4 inch will be here. And that's what gives us our 1/2 inch. Since you have a bolt, cut on the length with the selvage. Okay, so that's what I could do. I could cut a piece that's 48.5 long, is what you're saying, and then cut 4 8-inch pieces out of there. So that's what you're saying. Ooh, I haven't done that before. Yeah, we could give that a try. So then we'd trim a couple of those down to the 36.5 inches when we're done. So that's kind of what you're saying, right? And then we'll have all that extra, what will this be? 32 inches. Oh yeah, so then we'll have a few extra that we can cut some binding pieces out. So, all right, why don't we just start there? I think this is enough math for me to get going. And then we will, I've never done this before, cut lengthwise like this. So that'll be interesting. We'll waste a whole lot less fabric that way, I think, because we can use some of those long pieces for the binding. Oh, is it 49 inches? Well, total, this would be, once it's all sewn in, it would be 36, and then, or 32, and then our 8 and 8, which is 48, and then adding our 1/2 inch. Yeah, so I think we just need the 48.5 still. Let me know if I'm wrong on that, but I think it's still just 48.5. So, all right. We'll try this, and then we will have a little bit extra that we can cut some strips out, some 2.5-inch strips for binding. So I'll cut those out, and then we'll just see how much more I need to cut after that. And then I also want to cut a back, which will, I think I'm just going to do the green still. So, all right, we got a plan. That's good. This is always the tough part. So, all right. Let's roll up this ruler. I'll just toss it over here for now. Let's give this a try. So we're going to start out by getting a 48.5-inch lengthwise piece from here. So, all right, you're going to get out of the way a little bit, Quilt. All right, so what is the best way of doing this, I wonder? Well, this is a 24-inch cutting board here. Actually, you know, I might measure this way because I can only cut this way on here. So maybe because I have this little cutting board. So why don't I get a bunch off of the bolt ready to go. And then we will measure by 18-inch pieces. So what's that? Let's figure out what 42.5 divided by 18 is. Got my other phone for my calculator. 48.5 divided by 18. All right, so we're gonna have to go at least twice. Today it's cooled off a bit. Oh, it's a little cooler here too. Oh my gosh, 107, that's a little ridiculous. I don't think I'd be able to handle that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna line up the folded edge here with a straight edge of my cutting board here. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just cut the raw edge away here. Oh, sometimes you just rip after doing the marking. Oh, that'd be a good idea too. I'm not comfortable with doing that. I think it's a quilter thing, me not being comfortable with that, just because ripping is such a dressmaker's thing to do, and I am not completely comfortable with that yet. Ooh, this is tricky working in this little area. Rip it! Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that. I mean, I suppose everything would be straighter if I ripped it. But, we're going to just keep going this way. So, all right, I have my straight edge here, so I'm going to just I'm going to just grab the edge here. This is 18 inches, and I'm going to just move it over here. And we're going to do that twice. Oh, wait, we should have figured that out. So what is 48 and a half minus 36? 12 and a half. All right, so I'm going to move it over twice. Actually, you know what? I'm going to... Oh, yeah, you're right. I messed it up already. No, okay, so I am... Oh, it is on the straight of the grain. Yeah, it is doing that by ripping it. Well, I've never done that before. Should we give it a try? Do you rip from the selvage edge? Oh, this isn't sparkly fabric. It's solid fabric, so it has a little bit of a sheen. But, all right, you know what? I'm too scared to do that. We're going to do it this way for now. All right, so 18 inches is right there. So I'm going to just move it down. Here's my other 18 inches. Make a small snip and then insert. But can I do that on the fold? Maybe we'll try that for the back. I think I'm going to stick to this, cutting it with the rotary cutter for the front here. All right, get this extra fabric out of my way. So now we need that 12 and a half inches. All right, so this is smoothed out. I still have the line here. So I am right on that 12 and a half inches, right? You would give yourself another couple inches in case it's not square. So then, okay, if I give myself a few more inches, if it's not square, I still need it to be that exact 48 and a half inches though. Would you just measure again and trim it later? I'm gonna do 8 inches, Rosalie, for the border. All right, I'll give myself a few extra inches because I'm a little nervous about that as well. But I do want it exactly that 48 and a half once we cut it for real. So all right, fine. We'll do it 40. We'll do it 50 inches. How about that? So what's that? That's another 14. All right, so fine. We will cut on the 14-inch mark here. Which I can barely get my ruler on. I think when we cut lengthways, I think I'm gonna fold it a few times. Okay guys, I'm cutting. So we're cutting on to the 50-inch mark, not the 48 and a half. So we have a teeny bit extra if we have to fudge it a little. Does that sound legit? I think that's the plan. If I lose an inch to the scrap world, we'll be okay. Okay. Big piece of fabric. Number 1, cut. All right, I'm going to get this bolt out of my way here. It is kind of fun to have the whole bolt to work with. All right, now we're going to cut our 8-inch pieces out of here. So I'm going to fold it. See, now that doesn't even fit on my cutting board yet. I'm going to fold it again, and I'm just going to hope that it doesn't get too wonky. So this will be 8 layers of fabric right now, which my rotary blade should still be okay with. So I'm trying to get that fold really good here. Actually, I could probably just cut off the fold and then cut the 8 inches, right? I think that might be the best way of doing it. the way I'm going to do it now. And then we'll cut the extra pieces off of the end here. So just to get this squarish, I have the fold is still on the bottom on a straight edge here. And I'm going to just cut off all of these fold lines. And then we're going to cut 8-inch pieces. So here we go. No, 8.5-inch pieces. All right, we are cutting the lengthwise grain as well. The selvage is on the other side, so good. 8.5. Yep, thanks for reminding me. Okay, let's get the big ruler out. We should be able to get 2 8.5-inch cuts out of here. All right, this one has an 8-inch built in actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can square it up. So then it has the 8, and then the half is built in here. All right, this is my first 8.5-inch strip. Looks square. Oh wait, I need a bunch of other borders too, so I'm gonna have to do this again, aren't I? Oh wait. Oh no, this is doubled up. So confusing. You can see how much I do quilt borders. But you know what? This is exactly what I like doing in the evening here with you guys, is learning all new things and trying new ideas that I haven't done before. Go this side. 4 and 4. Double check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5. Yep, just 2 strips. Okay, good. Man, you plan it all out, and then when you do it, it gets you confused. Not quite square. There we go. 8.5. All right. All right, so we should have 4 50-inch strips now. And you know what? While I have the ruler and everything here, why don't we cut a 2.5-inch piece out of here that we'll use for a binding later. Two and a half, and then we'll just have some selvage at the end here. Quite line up. There we go. All right, start of a binding. And then this is the tough selvage part, which isn't very stretchy. So this I don't need, that's scrap. And there we go. We got the start of a binding. I will set this aside. We will add that to our measurements later. And okay, now our borders. So we need 2 of these to be 48 inches, and then the other one to be 36 inches. So let's check the measurement on that 48 inches first. 48 and a half, rather. So yeah, so we have our doubled strips up here. Yeah, okay. So here I should just be able to, now I can rotate and measure. This will be easier. So what we could do is figure out what 48 divided by 2 is and measure that, because we have it folded here, and then trim that, and we should be square. So that would be 24¼ inches, and that barely fits on this mat here. So if I line this up to the edge and line it along a straight edge here, then I just need to add 1/4 inch to my line here to the end. So this is me trusting this ruler, this cutting mat. So I'm gonna add, if I add just 1/4 inch, so I'm not quite off the cutting board here. Oh, leave it in and center the quilt. Well, what I'm worried about is, you know, we talked about with the Splendid Sampler how I needed to cut my border the exact size and then pin both sides and then pin the center and then pin throughout. That's what I want to do for this too, because the edges are so stretchy that I feel like I need to start with the right length and then, you know, pin a lot, just because we are on that stretchy. So, but I get what you're saying by leaving this the length it is, which is 50 inches, and then just, you know, measuring from the middle. But I do think in this case, because we're dealing with those stretchy triangles, that I do kind of want to get the exact length here. You would not cut until you were there. Wait until you get there. So you'd say just start from the middle too? Well, okay. All right, fine. You've convinced me, the two of you. So, all right. You know what I am going to do? I'm going to score this script, though, just so I have a visual reminder of where this is. I don't know if this is a good idea or not, but I'm just drawing a line. All right, there we go. So we do have the center pieces here yet, so that I can mark. I'm just gonna put a little crease on those. Should I, you know what, I'm gonna at least trim these so they're all equal though. Would you? I think that's okay. We'll do that. So I'm not cutting it all off. I am just gonna trim them so all these pieces are equal. We still have a little bit on all of them. I just want them all to match so I can treat them in the same way. But I do have extra on still. So there, now my pieces are the same length at least. Okay, so we could do the same way. We could do the same thing for the short sides. Oh, these are for the long ones, so we can wait on those anyway. So here's the long. Next up is, what we need first are these short sizes, these 36.5. So cut for the short sizes. So, meaning cut these to actual 36 inches. We could do that. Because these ones will go on right away now, so these ones will have the right measurements. All right, so I'm going to put a crease in here, because that'll be our center on both of these. That'll be my like little marker. All right, so 36 inches. That in half is 18, so we could cut at the 18 mark, which would be, hold on guys. Or no, 18, yeah, there should be 2 here. Yeah, so I actually need 18.25 for this, right? That'll work, so I'm gonna count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 1/4. So So that's what we should need, and then I'll have a little bit of extra here. Sound good? I'm all nervous about this stuff tonight. I just want to double check that I'm measured. This is 18. There we go. All right, this is going to be an exact cut now. So this is what we are going to measure the sides perfectly to. All right, we're doing it. All right, we have this little scrap that I can use for something else. And now we should be ready with our two 36.5-inch pieces here. All right, so we should be ready to pin and sew the sides, so the two longer sides. So let's do that. Definitely more comfortable doing that. So, all right, let me move my rulers and the fabric. All right, back to the quilt. So I'm going to move one of these to the side for now. They're both marked still with that center point. Okay. So these are the long sides. So that's this side. So the center point on these are at the 5-inch or the 5 block mark, because there's a total of 9 blocks. So I'm just going to fold that in half just real quick and just kind of mark that center with just a little fold. There we go. So that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to match up that center fold that we did here. So I don't have a right side or wrong side to this fabric. But if you do have a pattern piece, then you're going to want to, put right sides together. All right, so there's my center. I am going to wonder clip this whole thing. And like I said, these are the stretchy sides of the triangles here. So I'm going to probably put in more wonder clips than what I normally would. And you can pin too. Just lately I've been using the wonder clips. I like them. All right, center is marked. Now I'm going to go to the end here. So in theory, this should all match up well. So I'm gonna wonder clip the end. And then I'm going to go along, I'm just going to go along the center, the piece here. So I'm going to center it, and then I'll center it again a few times. So throw one. Here, I'll tilt you guys up a little bit. Throw one right here. And then I'll throw a couple more in here. Just because we are dealing with, like I said, that stretchy fabric. We're going to put in more than what we need. And I think we'll sew this side before jumping to the other side. All right. Now we have to go to the top. So same thing as what we just did. We're going from that center point to the top point and wonder clipping that. All right, and then just kind of centering it along the way. So on the other side, yes, so on the quilt side. What's the quilt side? So on the quilt side. So I should like flip this around. Is this, you mean that this fabric's flip? Oh, with a walking foot. Oh, so on the quilt side, I see what you're saying. Oh, yeah, you're right. So I will sew on the quilt side, but that means my wonder clips are upside down. But I'll just, I'll do the rest of them right side up. I hear what you're saying. We will do that. Yeah, and we want to do that too because that's where we're going to want to match up our points. All right, I'll flip this around. There we go, that's what we want. So we're gonna sew it on this side, not this side, because then we can see all these points that we wanna match up along the way. Nope, no walking foot now. We had that whole discussion before. We're gonna stick the walking foot just for the quilting, because for this part we do want that top bit to be able to slide a little bit. So all right, let's give this a go. We'll see how we do. Okay. Time to sew. Thanks for all your help, guys. I definitely need it. I am still a quilting novice. The Splendid Sampler definitely helped, but, you know, not in the borders and quilting of it all quite yet. Wonder clips over here, I think. Okay. First clip. All right, I'm gonna get my, when you cut the rest of the binding, you'll need to cut on the straight grain so it matches. Oh, yeah, that's true. Keeping the grain the same. Do you think that's going to cause like a big difference for the binding? Well, I also need to do the back, so we might be able to get it in with the back, cutting on the lengthwise grain too. Uh-oh. We may have finally broke the needle. All right, that was the wrong needle. So We've been using a thinner needle than what we should have been using this whole time, but it happens. So I'm going to just take the needle out. I might switch to my top stitching needle already, or maybe that's not a great idea. Let's scooch this needle out of my way here. All right. Let's get my needle thing out. I think we'll stick to a we'll do an 80-12 now instead. Although we could do like a 90-14. Should we just do a 90-14 universal? So 90, the bigger the needle, so a 90 is bigger than a 70, which is what we were using. It's gonna be thicker, so it'll be a bit stronger. So I think because we do have some really big chunky seams, I think that might be the way we should do it. And I'll actually switch to a top stitching needle once we do the quilting. All right, get in there, needle. This used to freak me out so much when I started sewing, like if I'd break the needle, but now that I know that, you know, that you change needles often enough anyway, so to me it's not that big of a deal anymore. It's just I was using the wrong needle, really. No biggie. Back at it. I'm gonna just back tack it though. This should be able to power through these seams a little bit better. So you can kind of see, it's good that I use a lot of Wonder Clips because this top is stretchy, and I do have to kind of make up for it by helping it in a little bit and easing it a little bit. All right, next up. I like this green one. Soon we'll get to the Wonder Clips that are actually right side up. Well, I'll learn from the one side of the border, and then the other side will do just right. Wonder Clips and all. So I think I'll sew the other side before pressing, but we'll definitely have to press this before moving on to the next part of the border. So I think that's what we'll do. Tonight we will sew the other side of this. We'll pin and sew the other side, and then tomorrow, maybe I'll have time to press it yet tonight. I don't know. But then tomorrow we'll sew the top and bottom on, and we'll probably have time to do a whole lot more. So we'll cut the back, cut and sew the back, and cut and sew the rest of the binding strips tomorrow. I think we can handle all that. It's getting there though. Almost done with the top. Does feel good to get this far in a project, though. All right, I'm very happy that I pinned, well, Wonder Clipped as much as I did. Okay. Well, we did it. There's one side. Only one casualty in there, at least so far. We'll see. All right, let's just peek. Always gotta peek. There we are. It always finishes things up, getting a border and everything on it. It starts to frame everything. So, all right, there's one side. It's not sparkly like the other stuff, but I still do think it relates a lot of the colors. But I think the size will be kind of nice. Not too big, not too small for the border. I think it'll be... Oh, it makes sense because these are 4-inch blocks. It makes sense to double it proportion-wise for an 8-inch. So good. I'm glad we did that. All right, other side. Let's do it. This time I'll put the border on the bottom while we do it, but let's first get my center point here. Man, it gets bigger and bigger, which means it's just getting more and more unruly on my little table here. When I sandwich it, which is when I put the batting and the back all together in the front, I'll do that on the floor. So that I'll do in the living room. All right, so I'm just kind of creasing this little point here again. That's my center point. Should be the halfway point on this block. Yep. All right, we'll start there, but I'll flip it around this way this time. This way. All right. I know, I'm really liking these colors. I think this I'm glad I had this color for the border, and I'm going to use this for the back too, just because I think it's pretty, this deep green. I think it goes with it, but I'm happy I had it. Just like a pretty dark green like this. center is clipped. So same deal, but this time we're working on the correct side to begin with. So marking the end here. Got my wonder clips back. I'm going to put a bunch of pins in though, like I did, or not pins, wonder clips like I did for the other side though as well. I think I needed all of those. Alright, so now I'm going to kind of even this out and just get it all in place, kitty scratch it in place, and kind of grab the center here, the general center, and then we'll do a few more. Couple more in here. And again, guys, a reminder, I will be giving this away when I'm done, so if you want the chance to have this finished quilt, whatever it ends up being, I know it might end up being a piece of crazy shenanigans, especially with that metallic thread, but I think it'll be fun. If you want a chance to win it, then you can sign up in that link in the description here. Okay, that guy is pinned. Let's do from the middle up. Lay my fabric flat there. Alright, let's get that little end first, as best we can. I haven't I didn't get to do this on the table for the Splendid Sampler quilt. It's kind of nice to be working on a table versus the floor on my knees. Oh, you can make it match with your bedroom. Well, that would be cool. All right, two more in here, and then a couple more up at the top. We'll get sewing. Whew, well, I feel good to have those cut. I have never cut lengthwise a border like that before, so that was new for me, and I always like when that happens. I'm glad I have such good helpers. You guys are awesome. I need you guys to help me along on all this stuff. I'm totally learning. Always learning, always trying to do something new, and sometimes that gets me into a world that I don't know where I'm at, like tonight. Alright, let's sew. Oh my gosh, Susan 25, that is awesome. That's a quarter done. Have you laid them all out yet? I think that was the first time I laid them all out, was at 25. Alright, here we go. Oops, I'm stuck. There we go. I'm pretty excited. Oh, thanks, Susan. I appreciate that. Oh, you have them in the binder. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I liked having them in the binder just because I thought I would wreck them by pulling them out all the time. Actually, now that I think of it, I think it wasn't until I was at the 50 mark that I pulled them all out to see what they'd look like together. That was actually nice, doing it at the 50 mark, because then that's when I assessed that, oh man, I kind of want more blue in this, so I got more blue fabrics after that point. Oh, come on. Just gonna get it flat in there. There we go. I think the stronger needle was a good idea. That little thin 70, size 70 needle was fine for the piecing, but once we got all these big old seam allowances, then it was time to change. You're itching to lay them all out. Oh, your cousin loved her baby quilt. Yay, that's so exciting. All right, come on, seam. I'm really helping this along here. How fun. It's neat to make something and have the person, you know, love it. It's always kind of neat. I love doing baby quilts, and, you know, because people post their photos on Facebook of their babies all the time, and it's always fun to catch them with a photo with the quilt in. Like, oh, there's the quilt. Alright, I think we'll have just enough time tonight to press this, which will be good. Then we'll be all ready to go for tomorrow. But then we should be cutting that 48.5 inches for reals, I think. We'll measure this once it's pressed. And I don't think it should have. I mean, it's not a huge quilt, so I'm hoping it hasn't grown any. But we do have that extra inch or so in case we need to adjust. All right, almost there. Oh, you have a lot done too, Carol. That's awesome. I was tempted to do the bird block. It was at bird block this week on Thursday was the new one released, right? I kind of love that block. I was considering doing that one again, but we're busy with this quilt, and I want to get the quilt and my Splendid Sampler quilt done first before kind of jumping into those blocks again. Oh, you passed the 50-point mark on your Splendid Sampler, Cheryl. That's awesome. Oh gosh, 111 degrees by you there. Crazy. Okay, last bits, and we are right at the end of the fabric here, so I think that worked out great. We will press this and see what we got. Oh, you guys, I did send an email out today that shared some of the projects we have coming up next. You should actually expect, if you haven't gotten one, then you may not be on my newsletter yet. Okay, good. So Gina, you got the email. If you didn't get the email, get onto my newsletter. You can get on it at my website at penguinandfish.com. But there is going to be a little email going out about it tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know here. So that the travel tote, that'll be our first project that we start in. We're going to start the travel tote July 10th. But if you want to get the kit for the travel tote by Mod Kid, Patty Young of Mod Kid, if you want to get the travel art, gosh, what do I keep calling it the wrong thing? The travel art folio. There we go. The travel art folio. If you want to get one of the kits, so she's going to have the kit with fabric that you can choose in it. And it has all the supplies. It has the interface stuff. It has little Velcro bits. It has everything you need in that kit. The kits, they're only going to be available until June 29th to be shipped on time for our July 10th because their family's going out of town on vacation. So her last ship day for those is June 29th, so you'll need to get the kit by then if you want it in time for for the stitch along. So I'm gonna send out a notice tomorrow about that, just as a reminder. So that's just like a week and a half or a little over almost 2 weeks. But yeah, so if you want to do that travel art folio project, which I think is going to be really, really cute and perfect for like summer vacations and all that, if you want to do that with the kit, which is a discounted kit as well over on her site, you need to get it before the 29th. Oh, I know, Rosalie, I think that was one of my favorite parts about that bird too, the bird Splendid Sampler, was that I was fully expecting it to be paper pieced when I saw it, and then it wasn't. It was all, it was just normally pieced. And so I got super excited about it at that point. I mean, it's dang cute to start out with, but you know, I didn't press the border at all yet, so let's do that while I do this. But that was pieced too, I think was really kind of neat. Alright, we're doing this crazy ironing thing here again on my tiny iron. Just scooching it down. I'm pressing towards the border, the seam allowance towards the border, just because that's like the path of least resistance for this seam. So we did actually manage to get some points on this side, which is good. I wasn't aiming very well for the points because I was more worried about my seam, just the ease of it all, the easing of it. But a lot of my points do match up, so that's cool. All right, that is the first bit. Oh, you lots of baby robins. So when we got our garden planted, we dug up a lot of ground. I'm just gonna kind of press this again quick. And now the robins just totally love us that we've dug up all the ground for them. They're in there looking for worms every day too. I think this is pretty well pressed. Yeah, I'm not worried about this side. So, oh, let's get this last little bit here. All right, I'm gonna press the other side quick. I think this is gonna look so nice though. It's looking really, really, really pretty with the border, I think. Then I'm kind of curious yet what this sparkle craziness is gonna look like. I'm a little worried about this sparkly thread, but I think it'll be fun if we can figure it out. So it'll have just like little shiny filaments going through this at a crisscross too. So that'd be kind of go with the rest of the sparkliness. I don't know. I did some research and people do it. People do quilt with that filament. It's basically a filament. Okay, now this side. Flip it around. I think this is the part that I do the least well at as far as coordination really, is when I have these huge floppy pieces everywhere that I'm trying to maneuver and move around and stuff. I have not gotten a good system in my body for that, these giant pieces. Once the quilt becomes a quilt, or gets to grow this big, then that's when it starts getting awkward for me. All right, let's split this guy open. Just try to press the border as I do this again. Scooch it down. What will you put in the bottom? When you sew with metallic thread. You don't want to put that in the bobbin, apparently. I'm going to put, I have a green thread. They said like a lighter thread, like a 50 weight, kind of like how we're using for the what's currently in my machine, that gray. But I'm going to just use whatever this is, just because I have it. I don't know, this is like old thread that I had, but it is a green, so on the back it'll kind of blend in. You'll see it a little bit, but you know, so it won't be too called out on the back, but you will still see like all the crisscrosses on the back with it. It'll just be more subtle. And in case it pulls through to the front during this metallic process, then it won't be so obvious either. So that's why I'm trying to go with like a little matching, as much as what I managed to scrounge up in the house that matches. All right, I'm gonna just do a quick press this way. Oh, thanks, Charlie Ann. She says, I'm doing well in my confined space. Well, we're reaching the limit of the confined space. Well, these points aren't quite as good on this side, but there's a point or two that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good looking point right there. The point ended up right on the edge there. Not so much here. Here I clipped a point, but I'm not worried about that. Almost done here. I just want to give it a little, get some of these folds out. But I think this, I think the border size was just right. It looks like it matched up well. So we'll do a quick measurement of that tomorrow, and or maybe I'll just do it before I come on tomorrow, and then we'll cut our top and bottom pieces, and we'll do the same thing. We'll fold this in half and mark it or pin it with or clip it with all the wonder clips. And we'll sew the top and bottom borders on, and hopefully we'll be able to also cut the borders, or the back and the binding as well. So there we are, guys. Let me take you off, or let me just lift you up so you can see it a little bit. So, see, we gotta do this and the top yet, but it's coming together. Ooh, it's really, that dark really frames it, I think. I'll have to lay this out on the ground and then we can kind of check it out. Everything's so much brighter now with the dark borders, I think. Woohoo! I'm excited. It'll be neat to see how this ends up once we have a full border around it. So, all right, guys, I'm going to flip you around and we'll call it an evening here. Hey there. So here we go. Let me bring this way. I'll stand up a little bit. So there we go. That's what the border is going to look like. Oh, and it changed color a little bit right here. So it is a little more on the green side. So there. I think it's going to be fun. I like how dark it is. So, all right, I will get this laid out. I'll take a photo of it so we can check it out, how far we are on it tonight. And tomorrow we will have a totally finished top. Oh, which is exciting. That'll be neat. And then, yep, we'll just be prepping for the back and the binding. And we'll be getting this thing together by the end of the week, I think. We'll probably start quilting at least by the end of the week. And man, I'm excited for that. The sparkly thread, if that works, it's going to just be so cool, that metallic thread. And, you know, when else am I going to make an attempt to sew or to quilt with metallic thread? I mean, this quilt just called for it, so I'm excited. A lot of experimenting on this, which has been really fun, for me at least. I hope you guys are going to try a few new things and stuff with it as well. So, all right, guys, again, you can win this quilt if you sign up on the link, and it'll be announced in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. You can join. I think there's a link here for that as well. And I will get this up onto YouTube tonight. It'll be at Penguin and Fish Movies on YouTube, and it will stay here on Facebook as well on the Penguin and Fish page. So awesome. You guys are the best. Thanks for joining me again, and I will catch you tomorrow. Good night.